President Donald Trump sending U.S. military troops to the Middle East right now. That's right. I'll give you the details here in this video. Also, Hamas says that the peace, the ceasefire, the truce is not going to be what everybody seems, and they're not going to be partaking in the peace signing. I'll give you the details of that. As are things falling apart already? I'll give you the details of all this here in this video, as many people are growing concerned that these wars may never end. And the U.S. is growing more and more involved in these. So let's jump right in, and I'll give you the details here in this video. We are live right now here on the YouTube It's Jimmy Show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to hit that like button for me here, and if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. I will keep you up to date and help me reach 500,000 subscribers. Take a look here. Hamas officials expect difficulties in the negotiations of the second phase of Trump's Gaza plans. I'll give you the details here in a second. First, I'm going to let you hear from President Donald Trump and his decision to send troops, U.S. military members, to the Middle East. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this here in the comments. Take a listen here.
It's a great deal for Israel, but it's a great deal for everybody, for Arabs, for Muslims, for everybody, for the world. I think it'll help. They're all tired of the fighting. This is beyond Gaza. This is peace in the Middle East, and it is a beautiful thing.
U.S. service members will arrive in Israel by tomorrow to help initiate the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Also heading to the region, President Trump, who is optimistic his deal will hold. Fox News contributor Dan Hoffman is a former CIA station chief, and he joins us now to react this morning. Thank you for joining us, Dan. So you always have a very clear-eyed view of the real politics of every situation. What is that clear-eyed, realpolitik view of the current situation?
So look, this is an extraordinary diplomatic achievement by the Trump administration. Pressure concurrently on Israel, and then excellent work with Qatar and Egypt and Turkey, the key stakeholders in the region, to bring about the ceasefire and freedom for hostages and the return of deceased hostages, and then a path forward. All of that is as great as we could ever have hoped for from a war that has caused so much devastation and really the challenge for the region. It's not just Israel and the Palestinian conflict, it's the region writ large. Remember that Hamas launched this attack over 2 years ago because they wanted to thwart any effort by Israel and to expand the Abraham Accords, to open their relationship with Saudi Arabia, create diplomatic relations. And so this is an extraordinary development, a pathway forward. Now, the challenge is to disarm Hamas and remove them from the political process and replace them with as yet undetermined Palestinian technocrats, keep the peace in Gaza. Those are all extraordinary challenges, but we've got the region on our side to help us try to get us done. And I think we've got better hopes for the future than arguably we've ever had in recent memory.
And I would imagine that those key stakeholders that you just mentioned are probably the most important part of this, because they will have a lot more influence over Hamas than I think even the United States military does. And another, switching gears a little bit, this extraordinary situation with the First Lady in direct negotiations with Vladimir Putin on releasing children. Watch this real quick.
Much has unfolded since President Putin received my letter last August. My representative has been working directly with President Putin's team to ensure the safe reunification of children with their families. 8 children have been rejoined with their families during the past 24 hours.
Have you ever seen a situation like this where you have a First Lady negotiating directly with a foreign leader?
I don't recall one, and good on the First Lady for securing the freedom of 8 8 of those children whom Vladimir Putin had abducted, kidnapped from Ukraine. But remember that there are 20,000 of them reportedly. And if there's one thing I learned from years of trying to see the world through the twisted eyes of the KGB operative in the Kremlin, it's that Vladimir Putin has a larger purpose here. This is his KGB spider web. He wants to create the impression that he's a reasonable negotiator, that he might care about the children, that he wants to get some good press, while he's raining down hell on Ukrainian civilians and continuing to hold 20,000 others. So that's what he's doing here. He's using those kids as pawns. At the same time, if you can get 8, 10, however many we can get out, God bless, those are 8 kids whose lives the First Lady has saved, and that's the challenge we face dealing with Russia.
However, don't expect Hamas to just give up power so easily, as Hamas officials expect difficulties in negotiations on second phase of Trump's Gaza plan. The proposal for Hamas members to leave the Gaza Strip under President Donald Trump's peace plan is, quote, absurd. A senior official from the Palestinian terror group has said, saying, quote, talk about expelling Palestinians, whether they're Hamas members or not, from their land is absurd and nonsense, said, quote, Political Bureau member Hassam Badran said in an interview. He expects negotiations over the second phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's Gaza plan to be tough, as it contains many complexities and difficulties. He adds that Hamas hopes it will not return to war, and it will be ready to return to fighting if the plan unravels and hostilities with Israel resume. Quote, we hope that we will not return to war, but our Palestinian people and the resistance forces will undoubtedly confront and use all their capabilities to repel this aggression if the battle is imposed. And President Donald Trump has made the decision to send more U.S. troops to Israel to monitor this Gaza ceasefire, which puts them right in the thick of things, right essentially in the line of fire if anything were to go wrong. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. This is literally the hotbed of the Middle East, and this is concerning at the least. Trump will send a couple hundred troops to Israel to help monitor the ceasefire in Gaza, according to U.S. officials. The U.S. military will establish a multinational task force in Israel known as a Civil Military Coordination Center, which is likely to include troops from Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and the UAE, they said. One senior official said no U.S. forces will enter Gaza, adding that the American role was to create a joint control center which will, quote, integrate the multinational force going in. However, this task force will be led by the U.S., by the U.S. Central Command Center, based in the region, and is intended to oversee the progress of the ceasefire agreement and also help coordinating humanitarian assistance. According to Google, there are approximately 40 to 50,000 U.S. troops deployed in all of the Middle East as of right now. So there is a lot of U.S. troops in the Middle East alone. Also, remember right now that U.S. military members aren't getting paid because of a government shutdown. I know, you can't make this stuff up, but yet, that's what's happening. This comes as, quote, Trump says a lot of federal workers are being laid off of the government during the government shutdown, as Trump administration began laying off federal workers on Friday on the 10th day of the government shutdown, saying, quote, the rifts have begun. The Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought wrote on X, using the acronym for Reductions in Force. Union representative government employees vowed to fight the layoffs with lawsuits. President Donald Trump said the number of federal workers who will be laid off will be, quote, a lot, and that they will be Democrat-oriented, Trump said, reiterating his promise to target programs he believed are favored by Democratic officials. For example, Just one U.S. District Court in San Francisco showed at least 4,000 federal workers receiving layoff notices alone. Just one U.S. District Court in San Francisco. Treasury and HHS also showing more than 1,100 employees as well. And lawsuits already being filed. Also, in a shocking announcement here today, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced an agreement to build a Qatari Air Force facility to be built in the United States. Yes, a Qatar Air Force facility will be built in the United States at a U.S. Air Force base in Idaho, which was shocking to me when I read this. Hegseth said the facility at the Mountain Home Air Force Base will allow pilots from Qatar's Air Force to train with American military personnel. Yeah. And there's obviously some people that were very concerned about this on social media. Hegseth said the facility will host a contingent of Qatar's F-15 fighter pilots and to enhance combat training, increase lethality, interoperability, and it's just another example of our partnership. Qatar is a key U.S. ally in the Middle East. The air base there, whose 10,000 or so service members makes it the largest American military installation in the Middle East, is located in Qatar. Laura Loomer, a right-wing activist who has influence with President Donald Trump, blasted this announcement, saying, quote, "I never thought I'd see Republicans give terror financing Muslims from Qatar a military base on U.S. soil so they can murder Americans," she wrote on X. "I don't think I'll be voting in 2026. I cannot in good conscience make any excuses. This is where I draw the line." Wow. President Donald Trump himself said in 2017, "The nation of Qatar, unfortunately, has historically been a funder of terrorism at a very high level." That comment came a dispute between Qatar and other Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Bahrain, who had blockaded Qatar over claims that it backed extremist Muslim groups. Now they will have a base in the United States, a military base, with F-15 fighter jets. Also, this is very important for those on Medicare or for those who have loved ones that want to be, pay attention. The annual open enrollment period goes from October 15th only until December 7th. If you have Medicare, this is the time to choose your new 2026 plan that works best for you. There has been a lot of Medicare changes recently, and most Medicare plans change, and many just go away entirely. Luckily, my trusted partner, Chapter Medicare, makes comparing every Medicare and Medicare Advantage option easy. They're honest, unbiased, and can review your plan and get you the best one in under 20 minutes. If you're on the right plan for your needs, they'll tell you, and if you're not, they'll help you switch. And by doing this, they've saved people on average around $1,100, which is amazing. They've helped hundreds of people from my community find better plans, and they can help you too. So call this phone number on the screen, 833-700-1320, or click the pinned comment down below in the comment section to connect with Chapter and find the plan that's best for you. So share this video on social media so other people can get this information. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. I will keep you up to date. Click here to see Russia saying, quote, "There's no other choice but a nuclear attack." Or click here to see the Pentagon say the U.S. is preparing for war. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next